Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Monday, March 19th, 2018. I am Dave Biddle, very happy to be joined by Alex Gleitman. Alex, my man, tough loss a couple nights ago for the Buckeyes against Gonzaga. Get down 15-0, come storming back, take a 5-point lead with just under 6 minutes left. Looked like the Buckeyes were going to win and advance to the Sweet 16 at that point. So a tough loss. I want to push this forward, though. As we look at the team next year, making the massive assumption that they're going to lose Keita Bates-Diop, not an assumption at all. Do you think they're going to take a step backward next year, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's unless they get some sort of super impactful graduate transfers, I think you have to assume they're going to take a step backwards. As you said, they lose Keita Bates-Diop more than likely. They're losing Jayshawn Tate. They're losing Cam Williams. They're losing a glue guy, a locker room guy, and a backup point guard in Andrew Dockich. I was reading something Brian Snow wrote for the network on our site on Sunday or Saturday night, I forget which one, but he was talking about how kind of projecting the starting lineup next year, and he had a lineup of C.J. Jackson, Luther Muhammad, Kyle Young, Andre Wesson, and Caleb Wesson. And just looking at that on the surface, I mean, no disrespect to those guys. I think they're all nice pieces on the team, but there's no go-to scorer there. There's no true point guard. You know, when you compare that to other lineups in the Big Ten, I think those guys would have to improve tremendously, especially on the offensive end, to be as effective as this year's team was. So I don't think there's a question this team's going to take a step back. But let's see, A, how good the incoming freshmen are, and then B, if Chris Holtmann and his staff get into the graduate transfer market, maybe pick up 1, 2, 3 players that potentially could make an impact at various positions. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few months on that front, but I don't see any way this program doesn't take a step backwards.
Yeah, and we all think right now they will take a step back, but have to point out we never thought they'd be this good this year. So maybe Chris Holtmann will greatly exceed our expectations 2 years in a row. Not just exceed our expectations, but greatly exceed our expectations, because it's amazing what he did in year one. You hit on what I want to talk about next, Alex. I mean, they need at least one grad transfer, maybe 2 grad transfers, or maybe a grad transfer and a JUCO transfer, because here's why. I mean, just because they need more scoring and more, just better players in general, but they only have 10 scholarship players right now as you look ahead to next year. 6 returning scholarship players, 4 recruits, and it's a good but not great recruiting class. It's ranked 26th nationally according to the 24/7 Sports Composite, 6th in the Big Ten, so good, not great. So they're 3 spots short of a full roster as far as scholarship spots. I mean, they need to land at least 1, maybe 2 transfers that can play immediately this summer.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I would look at first the point guard position. I think if you could move – C.J. Jackson definitely did, I think, a solid job this year, but I don't think he's a true point guard. I think he's more of a combo guard. I think he does some of his best work off ball, and I think if you can move him more off ball and let him shoot and just kind of create the offense that he creates and have someone else come in and be a facilitator to get more guys involved in the offense, I think that would be my number one priority for Ohio State. I think on top of that, adding another wing player. We talked about the potential starting lineup, and you're talking about guys like Andre Wesson and Kyle Young and Musa Jallow and, Justin Aarons. And, I mean, look at who they have on the wings to replace Keita Bates-Diop. I just don't feel that strongly about that position. So that would be priority number 2. And then if they can, I think it would be ideal if they could get another big man. I think Jaden Ledee is probably – his father tells me he's 6'9" right now. He's probably 6'8", 6'9", so he can handle that 4 or 5 position pretty well. But as we saw this year, Caleb Wesson, Micah Potter, they tend to get into foul trouble a little bit early in games, and hopefully they improve on that as both of them get another year older, another year more experience in this program. But I think having another big man with depth, even if they come in and play 10 minutes of good defense and rebound the basketball and kind of get all the easy garbage points on the inside, I think that would be extremely valuable. So for me, as you said, whether it's a JUCO, whether it's a graduate transfer, I think they need to find a combination of 2 or 3 guys, and my position priority list would be point guard, wing, and then big man.
Before we switch gears to football, one more basketball topic. Of the guys that are like, the guys that were pretty much bench warmers this year or played a little bit, actually Andre Wesson actually played a lot. He's playing there like over 20 minutes a game. But we'll include guys like Andre Wesson in there, guys like Micah Potter, Kyle Young, Musa Jallow. Of that group, who do you forecast might have the biggest improvement from this year to next?
I actually think it's going to be Kyle Young. I really liked him coming out of high school. I never thought he was going to be like a one-and-done type of talent. So his, I guess, he had some flashes during games, but his overall lack of production, I thought he would end up playing more minutes. I thought he'd end up being a guy who got somewhere between 12 and 15 minutes a game on this team, and I think he averaged right around 10. And that's, he didn't even play in the last 3 games that this team's played. So he definitely, I think, disappointed a little bit, came in below expectations, but I think having a year in the program, being a little bit more confident, knowing that there's less guys in front of him and that he kind of has to step up, I think he's going to take a big jump. I think he's a guy, he's versatile. He could play the 3, he could play the 4. He could probably even step in and guard a center for a little bit of stretches if you want. He could shoot the basketball. He could dribble. He's athletic. So I think his skill set is going to continue to get better. But as you said, I think guys like Andre Wesson, he played a lot this year. He should have a lot of confidence. And Musa actually should still be in high school. He reclassified late in the game. He should be a high school senior right now. So the fact that he came in and gave some quality minutes in a number of meaningful games this year has to give him confidence. But kind of going back to the question, I got Kyle Young as my guy making the biggest jump next year. And I think he's going to have a really, really nice, solid, productive year for Ohio State and then have really 2 strong years to finish his career in Columbus as a junior and senior.
I like it. And Chris Holtmann has proven he is excellent at many things in life, but player development right at the top of the list as far as things Chris Holtmann's really good at. Okay, football. Buckeyes off last week because of spring break. Return to the practice field today. Alex, what has kind of piqued your interest the most so far in spring and kind of even going forward? What are you most interested in as it pertains to Ohio State spring ball?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their eyes on the quarterback battle. I think that's going to be interesting. I do think it's not as much of a battle as the coaches are leading on right now based on what I've heard. But, I could be wrong on that, and I hope I'm wrong on that. I hope the best guy plays based on performance, at least through spring, if not summer and fall. But
let me stop you right there. What are you hearing? You're hearing Haskins is kind of the guy?
Well, I think all the buzz we've gotten kind of since maybe that Michigan, the way he came in the Michigan game, I think all the buzz from everyone we talk to and even talking amongst ourselves is that Haskins is definitely the leader kind of going into, spring ball. And I have no reason to kind of double back on that. Now, I personally love Joe Burrow. I think he's awesome. I've loved him since the first time I really got an excited look at him at Semper Fidelis All-American Bowl practices a couple years back. I think he could run this offense. I think he could take this team to the national title. So we'll see what happens there, but most of the buzz I've been hearing is Joe Burrow is probably going to transfer and Dwayne Haskins is probably going to be the guy. But again, hopefully, if Haskins doesn't look that great in the spring and Burrow looks really good, hopefully Burrow gets his fair shake.
One more football talk before I let you go. J.K. Dobbins, guy coming off as a true freshman, 1,400 rushing yards, averages 7 yards per carry. I mean, normally you would think a guy like that, and he's going to get better. You saw Mike Weber add a step, through last offseason. You have to think Dobbins is going to add a step, going to get a little stronger, going to get a little better. In most cases, with a guy has 1,400 yards and averages 7 yards per carry as a true freshman going into sophomore year, you're thinking, we need to ride that guy, right? I mean, but it's a different scenario maybe with Ohio State, with Weber, with some of the other backs they have, the deepest running back stable I can remember. How do you think that's, assuming now these things have a way of taking care of themselves, Alex, through injuries, but assuming guys stay healthy, do you think they will ride Dobbins, or do you think this is going to be kind of a, I don't want to say running back by committee, but you think it'll be more like 1A, 1B with Dobbins and Weber? You think they might ride Dobbins to a certain extent?
I think there's going to be a role for both of those guys. I think the fact that and again, I don't think it's unfair to say until we see it, we can't believe it. But there's a lot of talk, maybe more than ever, about changing the offense, making it more of a pass-first type approach, maybe something like more of what you saw when Cardale Jones stepped in during the 2015 national title run. But if that is the case and that does happen, I think you're going to see more opportunity for the ground game via the running backs. And so I think there's going to be a role for both of them. I don't want to be the guy who has to manage that because I think it's really tough. Like, you'll always be thinking, oh, if Dobbins was in on that play, he would have saw something and jump cut and broke it for a long game, but Weber couldn't do that. Or, Dobbins wasn't strong enough to get through that ankle tackle that maybe Weber could have, and he could have taken it to the house. So I do think Dobbins is going to be the clear number one back. I'll say that. But I do also think that there's going to be a nice role for Mike Weber. I think the potential for both of them to get 1,000 yards is certainly there. But I think Dobbins, as you said, he's only going to get better. I know he's laser focused on getting better. This is a kid who's all business, and he's going to have a monster year. But I also think Mike Weber is going to have a really nice year himself.
Great insights, as always, from Alex Gleitman. Thank you very much, Alex, and thank you to all the listeners out there for tuning in the show. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. Let's hear that Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.